The Legend of St Lucia. Once upon a time, in a beautiful land far, far away called Sweden, there was a little girl named Lucia. Lucia was known throughout her village for her kindness and her love of helping others. She lived with her family in a cozy little house at the edge of the village. In the winter, it was very cold and dark, and the days were short. The sun would set early in the afternoon, and night would come quickly, making everything feel even colder. Lucia loved the winter, even though it was dark and cold. She loved the way the snow sparkled in the moonlight and how the whole village looked like a winter wonderland. But this winter was different. The villagers were worried because the harvest had not been good and they were running out of food. The days seemed to get shorter and the nights longer, and everyone was scared and didn't know what to do. Lucia wanted to help. She thought about how she could bring some joy and warmth to her neighbors. She thought, and then she had an idea. Lucia decided to bake bread for everyone in the village. She knew that warm, fresh bread would make everyone feel better. Lucia went to the kitchen and put on her apron. She mixed flour, water, yeast, and a little bit of salt. She kneaded the dough with her small hands, pressing and folding it until it was smooth and soft. She shaped the dough into loaves and placed them carefully into the oven. As the bread baked, the delicious smell filled the air. It smelled so good that Lucia's family came into the kitchen to see what she was making. When the bread was done, Lucia took it out of the oven. The loaves were golden brown and looked perfect. She placed them in a big basket, ready to take to the villagers. But there was one problem. It was so dark outside, and Lucia didn't want to get lost in the snow. Lucia thought, and then she had another idea. She decided to make a crown of candles to wear on her head. She carefully made a wreath from evergreen branches and placed small candles all around it. When she lit the candles, they shone brightly, lighting up the night. With her basket full of bread and her crown of candles, Lucia was ready to go. Lucia's family watched as she stepped outside. The cold wind blew, but Lucia was not afraid. Her candle crown lit up the path, and she could see where she was going. She walked through the snowy streets, her feet crunching in the snow, and knocked on the first door. An old woman opened the door. She was surprised to see Lucia standing there with her basket of bread. "Hello, Lucia," the old woman said. "What are you doing out in the cold night?" "I brought you some bread," Lucia said, smiling. She handed the old woman a warm loaf of bread. The old woman was so happy and thankful. She took the bread and invited Lucia inside to warm up by the fire, but Lucia had more bread to deliver and couldn't stay. Lucia continued through the village, knocking on doors and giving bread to everyone she met. The villagers were so happy and grateful. They couldn't believe that Lucia had baked all this bread just for them. They gathered around her and sang songs to thank her for her kindness. The village, which had been so dark and cold, now felt warm and bright. News of Lucia's kindness spread quickly. People from nearby villages heard about the little girl who brought light and warmth to her village, and they were inspired by her story. They wanted to celebrate Lucia and her kind heart. From that day on, every year on December 13th, the people of Sweden celebrate St Lucia Day. On this special day, little girls dress up like Lucia, wearing white dresses and crowns of candles. They bring bread and other treats to their families and friends, just like Lucia did. On St. Lucia Day, the eldest daughter in each family gets up early in the morning while it is still dark. She puts on a white dress and a red sash and places a crown of candles on her head. She goes to the kitchen and makes a special kind of bread called lussekatter, which are sweet saffron buns shaped like little cats. She prepares coffee and hot chocolate, and then wakes up the rest of the family with a beautiful song about St. Lucia. The whole family enjoys the delicious breakfast together, feeling the warmth and love that Lucia brought to the village many years ago. St. Lucia Day is a very special day in Sweden. It marks the beginning of the Christmas season and is a time for families to come together and celebrate. The story of Lucia reminds everyone to be kind and help each other, especially when times are tough. Lucia's bright light and warm heart showed everyone that even one small person can make a big difference. The celebration of St. Lucia Day has spread to other countries as well. People all over the world have heard the story of the brave little girl who wore a crown of candles, and brought bread to her neighbors in the dark, cold winter. They are inspired by her story and celebrate St. Lucia Day in their own special ways. Some families make their own crowns of candles and have their children wear them while singing songs about St. Lucia. Others bake lusakater and share them with their friends and neighbors. Some communities hold St. Lucia processions, where children dress up in white robes and carry candles, singing songs as they walk through the streets. St. Lucia Day is a time to remember the importance of kindness and generosity. It is a reminder that even the smallest act of kindness can bring light to the darkest of times. Lucia's story teaches us that we can all make a difference in the world, no matter how young or small we are. As the years go by, the story of Lucia continues to inspire new generations. Children learn about her bravery and kindness and are encouraged to follow in her footsteps. They learn that helping others and spreading joy can make the world a better place. Every December 13th, when the sun sets early and the night seems long and cold, families gather together to celebrate St. Lucia Day. They light candles and sing songs, remembering the little girl who brought light and warmth to her village. They share bread and treats, spreading the message of love and kindness that Lucia taught them. The legend of St. Lucia is more than just a story. It is a celebration of the human spirit and the power of kindness. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, we can find light and hope. And just like Lucia, we can all make the world a brighter and happier place by sharing our love and kindness with those around us. Moral of the story: we learn that being kind and helping others is very important. When we share and care for each other, we can make the world a brighter and happier place, just like Lucia did with her warm bread and shining candles.